Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Martin, and today I'm going to be talking about how to avoid being a martyr during the holiday season. So, acting like a martyr is something that is common among people who have some codependent traits or they tend to be people pleasers. So, that's a part of acting like a martyr. It is doing a lot, giving a lot, self sacrificing. Doing so much for other people that it is actually harmful for yourself. And that's a really key component to understand that it's not just helping other people. That's a good thing. We can all agree that it's good to be kind and loving and generous, but it is not good for anybody when we do that to the extent that it is actually harming us. So that might be it's causing you physical harm or emotional harm. And by that, I mean things like you're so exhausted, you're irritable, you're tired, you're getting headaches, you've got backaches, and yet you keep doing and doing and doing and giving, but you're not taking care of yourself. So there's not this reciprocity in the relationships. You're not asking for what you need. You feel like there isn't time or energy left to take care of yourself because your focus is on doing everything for everybody else. And then the second part of being a martyr is what I would call sort of a victim mentality. And that's when you feel trapped and stuck in this giving role as if you have no choice in the matter. So it feels like there's an obligation, it's a burden, it's something that you feel like you have to do or you should do, or there's going to be, some kind of really negative consequence, whether that's a sense that if you stop doing certain things that people will be angry with you, they'll be displeased or disappointed in you, or a feeling like, things are really going to fall apart if you stop doing some of these things. And that nobody else would step in to pick up the pieces, that so much is depending on you, that it just, like I said, it feels like this burden of, I've got to keep doing these things because if I don't, something bad is going to happen. So I'm stuck, right? And that's a really difficult place to be in. It's a difficult feeling to have when you feel trapped into doing things that aren't good for you, but you feel like you have to keep doing. You don't see any other way out of it. So why do we do these things? I think to give you a simple answer to that question is that, these are learned behaviors for the most part that we, pick up as children as ways to cope with difficult things that are happening to us. And ultimately, it is this feeling of my self-worth depends on me getting praise and acceptance from other people. And the way that I do that is that I give and I help and I do things for people. And that means that I have value, I have worth, people care about me, they love me. And if I were to stop doing those things, that I really fear that I won't be wanted anymore. I won't be valued anymore. So there's a lot on the line, right? When you think about it like that and you understand that your self-esteem is really hinging on you continuing to be a martyr. So what do you do about it? Here's what I really want to share with you is that you actually do have choices. And I think so many times in life when we feel stuck, it's because we can't see the variety of choices. Or perhaps you see the choices, but you just discount them because you say they're not good choices. They're not the perfect choices either. And that may be, but it's still important to recognize that you are doing these things by your own free will. You are choosing to act in this way, and you can choose not to as well. So, for example, if you are somebody who does all of the shopping and the cleaning and the cooking and the preparation for Thanksgiving, and you do it all yourself, either you don't ask for any help from anybody else, or if people offer help, you refuse it. Those are sort of, classic martyr behaviors. I'm going to do it all myself. I have to do it all myself. Sometimes there's some perfectionism that's woven into that. I want it to be a certain way, or it needs to be just right, and nobody can do it to my standards. that can be a piece of it as well. But then what happens is we get resentful. So we're saying no to the help, or we're not asking for the help, but at the same time, we're kind of secretly, or sometimes not so secretly, really angry that people aren't helping us, right? So, we're really, creating this no-win situation for ourselves and for other people. It's like we don't want help, but we're angry that nobody's helping us. So, like I said, in order to kind of move beyond that, we have to, own the fact that this is a choice that we're making, and that we need to ask for help. We need to accept help, that those are normal things. And sometimes, like I said, we need to let go of some of the perfectionism and say, it really doesn't have to be perfect. People may do things in a different way, or a way that I feel is not quite right. But that's okay. This is just Thanksgiving dinner. We're not, having the Queen of England over or anything like that. We can kind of lower our standards in some of those ways, because we're going to be healthier and we're going to be happier, because we're not going to be dragging around this sack of resentments and grievances, which are ultimately just going to make us irritable and unhappy and perhaps unpleasant to be around. Instead, what we want to do is directly ask people for what we need. And that requires that we, tune into ourselves, I think, probably before, the big holiday events and during, and really check in with ourselves and, and say, how am I doing? What is it that I need right now? Are some of those resentments bubbling up? Am I feeling tired? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Those are all cues that you need some help. And I really just want to reassure you that that is completely normal. It is not a deficiency or something wrong with you. There shouldn't be an expectation that you're going to do everything yourself. This is, why we have friends and we have family, is that we pull together, and we can be a team with things, and just do it completely imperfectly together. And sometimes the imperfections in it are really the fun part of it, or the most memorable part, especially when you can look back and, laugh about how the turkey got burned. It's not always funny in the moment, but it often is in retrospect. So keeping a sense of humor about things is often a good coping skill as well. So that's all I want to share with you for today. I don't want to keep you too long. So I hope that will be helpful to you. And I hope that, if nothing else, that you just kind of reflect on this idea and, ask yourself in what ways you might be acting like a martyr, and are there some ways that you can expand your sense of what your choices are, and really go into the holidays remembering that you do have choices, and that you can choose to do things or not do things, and that can be okay, and it is completely okay to take care of yourself, and to value yourself, and do things for yourself, that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, that I'm, being selfish and just doing for me, or, being a martyr and just doing for other people. So, okay. Thanks so much for listening. And I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season.